courtyard, completely empty.
Oh, much better.
Plenty of potential.
Yeah.
Well, the rain is certainly showing up the new paving. I think this is the latest that Gardens World has ever been on.
I think definitely it is.
Yep.
It's a first. And what we're going to do is transform this courtyard with its new paving into a Christmas garden, even if it's just for a few weeks over the season.
And also I'm going to be looking at bringing colour into the house, so house plants, what to buy and how to look after them over Christmas, and also making Christmas wreaths.
And I shall be getting some mistletoe by going along to a holly and mistletoe auction.
Well, mistletoe and wreaths would of course be nothing without the Christmas tree, so I'll be looking for the finest Christmas tree specimens. Not just shape and fragrance, but also one that genuinely hangs onto its needles.
At this time of year, the garden seems to have already given up hanging on and is finally shutting down. But there are still plenty of plants that will provide decorating material for use indoors. So I'm going to gather the best of them for Rachel to use later on. Now, of course, Christmas is first and foremost a celebration of the birth of Christ. And hardly any other plant is so closely connected to that as holly. And in Christian mythology, holly has berries that represent the blood of Christ, the prickly leaves, the crown of thorns, even the bark, which is bitter, is said to represent his passion. Now, cutting down a holly tree is supposed to be bad luck, but pruning it back is just sensible, both for decoration and for the holly, because where you prune it, you'll generate fresh, vigorous growth. So you're doing a good bit of gardening at the same time as decoration. We all love to see berries on the trees, and apparently this is supposed to be as good a year as anyone has ever known. I've never seen better. But this one doesn't have a single berry to its name. That's because it's a male tree, and only female ones will have berries. So if you've got a holly that never produces any berry, nothing wrong with it, it's just a bloke. It's not just the carol that links holly and ivy together. You can't really have Christmas without some ivy in the house. But there are rules and regulations that go with it, because you weren't supposed to bring ivy into the house before Christmas Eve. It was bad luck. And once in, it had to stay there until Twelfth Night, which is January the 6th. So if you obeyed those rules, you'll get all the benefits from it and you wouldn't have any harm coming to you. Now, the ivy flowers do look very good. You can see them here and they look wonderful on the wreath. But if you've only got a few, leave them, because they provide the nectar for the few winter pollinators that are around, the insects that will come and work. So leave those in. In fact, we've got loads of flowers elsewhere here at Berryfield, so I can afford to take those with impunity. To complete traditional Christmas decorations, you must have mistletoe. Like holly, it's full of legend and superstition, all bound up with its magic. It's a mysterious plant all round. No one quite knows how it grows. And it's long been a fertility symbol, and that's why we still kiss beneath it. Although the legend is that for every kiss you take, you must remove a berry. And when the berries are gone, then the kissing must stop. We don't have any growing here at Berryfields, so I bought this in from my own garden, and you can buy it from garden centres and street traders. And most of the English mistletoe that you buy will come from the famous holly and mistletoe auction at Tenbury Wells. Now, I went along there, but first I paid a visit to Stan Yap, who was gathering mistletoe to take to the auction from his apple trees in the hills above the town. Stan is known locally as Mr. Mistletoe and has been gathering and selling mistletoe for years. And for local families, this has been a traditional form of winter income for many generations. The area around Tenbury Wells is renowned for the quality and quantity of its holly and mistletoe. And every year there are a series of auctions held just before Christmas in this, which is the oldest surviving mistletoe and holly market. It's the morning of the sale, and buyers have arrived from all over the country. Francesca Williams has travelled from London to stock up for her garden shop, and this is her first time at Tenbury. What sort of quality of mistletoe are you looking for?
I like the kind of stuff that's quite green, not too yellow around the red edges.
Okay.
Lots of berries. Good berries this year, isn't it?
Amazing.
Gary Andrews is a local who buys mistletoe in huge quantities to pack and sell on to chain stores, markets and individuals. So he should know what to look out for.
If you're buying holly or mistletoe, what should the normal punter be looking for?
Well, mainly to make sure it hasn't been cut too long. You can have, most of it's good in here, but you have one or two who have, I think, cut it about a month ago and kept it outside, and you keep it another week and then suddenly all the leaves are falling off.
So how would you know, though?
You don't always know if it's pliable and that, but some of it, and especially, I mean, if you, I've seen some of the imported French and that, it looks fine, but it's usually in crates. You give it a shake, and the bottom of the crate, there's a lot of leaves dropped off, and you know straight away it's been cut a while.
Like any auction, timing is the key, and it's now the middle of the sale, and prices for the lots have steadily risen.
Last week I got a bundle for £18 and now it's got going 30 plus. So I'd rather do the hard graft of climbing up a tree and getting it myself at a farmer's than...
And are you prepared to wait to the very last lot to see?
Yeah, if the prices drop.
Despite the lots clearing quickly, like Francesca, Gary was biding his time.
Have you been buying it?
Not yet, no, not yet. I should start to have a look now. It was very expensive to start with, you know, and I sort of take a chance, hope it's going to come down in price, but sometimes it'll go on even dearer.
And you'll be caught.
And I'll be caught.
I've just one.
That's one then, my love.
Okay.
That's the one you have in mind.
So that's, you bought that?
No, I've got one at the end.
They bought that at the
Same.
end? Okay. For what, £26?
26, it's fine.
If you're thinking that a 3-hour journey for just £26 worth of mistletoe is a bit excessive, Francesca reckons that she would have to pay about £150 in London for the same quantity. Eventually, Gary made his bid and bought a whole row. His team moved in, loaded up and whisked the mistletoe off to be witness to many a kiss.
One of the things that I particularly like about this auction is that it's been going on exactly like this for years and years and years. There's no attempt to modernise it or make it efficient or make it pay or any of that modern nonsense. This is the way it works, everybody's happy, and hopefully this is the way it will go on to work.
As well as mistletoe, there's one other piece of decoration that every home has to have at Christmas. And of course, that's the Christmas tree. And Christmas wouldn't be the same without the ritual of going out and trying to find the perfect specimen. But it's not that easy. And last winter, Chris tested 5 of the most popular examples to see which one is the best all-rounder.
The first job was to choose our trees. So I went to Woods Farm, one of the biggest Christmas tree farms in the country, to meet owner Jeff Gilbert. The first tree I was looking for was a Scots pine, a native species with an open habit and reputed to retain its needles. It's good from this side too. Quite sort of equilateral triangle, isn't it? OK, all right. Get that one cut.
I'll have that one there.
Next up, I wanted a blue spruce. As its name suggests, it has a blue tinge, almost making it look as though it's been dusted by the frost. You've got a perfectly shaped tree, haven't you? Nicely spaced branches, good blue colour. It's nice and symmetrical. Yep, I think we'll have that one. My next choice, the Nordmann's fir, is becoming increasingly popular. It's a good shape, but the problem is it's a slow grower and therefore more expensive than some of the other trees. That's a pretty fine specimen. Oh, that's a nice tree. It's a great shape and it's about the right size. I think that's good actually. Yeah, let's go for that one. I've also included the Norway spruce in our trial. For many years, this was the Christmas tree. Do you think that it's still got a place in the market?
It's still our biggest seller, the Norway spruces.
It's still the cheapest, most popular and easy to find. But it also has a reputation for shedding its needles. You can see that's quite a nice rounded one. No, I think that's a good one. I think we'll take that one. Our final contender is the noble fir. This tree is proving hugely popular in the States. Once you get used to the more open habit, they're actually really good shaped trees and good colour on them.
Yeah, it's my favourite tree as a Christmas tree.
Well, I think that's a good specimen. As a comparison between something like the really dense Norways that we've got over here, I think it's a great tree. I think we should go for that and try it, see how it performs. Whichever you choose, if you can, buy your tree fresh cut from a plantation. If not, test freshness. The branches should have spring and flexibility. Needles should be a vibrant colour, and it certainly shouldn't be losing any needles just yet. If you're not sure, just remember that a fresh tree will be full of moisture and therefore will always be heavier. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but when I worked in a nursery selling Christmas trees, the number of people that put their tree, so the tip of the tree was towards the front of the vehicle. You then drive home and the whole of the front of the tree just gets broken off in the gale that blows over the car. And they used to bring them back and say, can I have another tree? And the simple answer was, no. We're setting up all our trees at Billesley Manor Hotel near Stratford-on-Avon. I want to select prime positions where the trees will see as much Christmas activity as possible.
OK, if you can go right into the corner, that'd be great.
So we put the Scots pine in the topiary suite.
Oh, that fits right, doesn't it?
Right, that's all right, isn't it?
This is good for here because this is the main party room, isn't it?
The blue spruce is going in the busy corridor between the reception and the bar, and the Nordman's fir is going in the restaurant. The Norway spruce will stay in reception, and the noble fir is going on the balcony overlooking the restaurant. All the trees are standing in a base which allows them to be regularly watered, and the staff have promised to keep them all topped up every day. As a test, there's one tree that will have no water at all. In a quiet room away from the hustle and bustle of the main hotel, I've put a second Norway spruce. Jeff mounted it on a cut log, and it won't be watered for an entire month.
At this time of year, the plants you grow inside the house are every bit as important as those growing outside, and certainly houseplants are very big business at Christmas time. And they bring colour and scent inside, so they're very important. Now, these are the hyacinths that I potted up back in early September. They're coming on a treat, but you need to get that timing just right, and that means keeping them really cold. Something like a cool greenhouse or a porch is perfect until Christmas Eve, and then bring them inside, and the warmth of the room will make the flowers open up and you'll get the scent. Now, another good trick, and this is something my father used to do, because the flowers can get rather top-heavy once they're fully open, they need some sort of support. And rather than use little individual stakes, if you push in these nice twiggy sticks, you'll find that the flowers will just grow through them, and the result is very pretty indeed. As a finishing touch, you can also put moss around the base. It just will cover the soil, which will look good. And as a bonus, it'll keep the compost nice and moist, so you won't have to water quite so often. Now, another plant that's really good for bringing scent into the house is Stephanotis. Known as the Madagascan jasmine, which reflects its tropical origins, it has stunning, pure white, waxy tubular flowers. It's one of the most elegant and classy houseplants, but demanding in terms of its care and cultivation. It hates hard tap water, needs lots of light, a constant steady temperature, and regular feeding and misting. Azaleas are really popular houseplants for Christmas, but they've been forced to flower at this time of year. They don't do it naturally, so it's unlikely you'll be able to get them to do it again once the initial flowers have gone over. Now, the trick with them is to keep the compost really moist, and they prefer either water from a kettle or rainwater, or to give them a special treat, they can always have a cup of tea, but make sure that it's black tea and that it's cold, otherwise the roots will get a nasty shock. And just pour that into a bucket, and then submerge the plant so that you see the air bubbles coming out of the compost, and just leave it there until the bubbles stop coming. And it's also important to remember to keep deadheading. Just take off the old flowers and you'll find new buds ready to come through underneath, and you should have flowers pretty much non-stop for at least 6 weeks. Now, another increasingly popular houseplant is the orchid. They have a reputation for being difficult to grow, but if you choose the right orchid for the right place, they make easy and rewarding houseplants. There are 2 main types sold at Christmas. Cymbidiums like cool conditions and they're perfect for cool conservatories, porches and bathrooms, but they hate drafts.